right, fam. How y'all doing tonight out there? Put your thumb in the air. Let me know you care if you're out there. Yes, indeed. There wasn't them emoji thumbs out there. Tonight is going to be a special night. Tonight is all about you on the People's Podcast. What you want to talk about tonight? What's on your mind? What's on your mind tonight? Yes, indeed. Y'all know what we do when we come in. We do what? We hit that share button, don't we? Because why? Sharing is what? Caring. That's right. Sharing is caring. All right. Can y'all hear that? Is the sound coming through pretty good for you guys? Thank you for that, JP. Let's go ahead and get our shouts out. Black Moses Freedom Festival, turning a moment into a movement podcast. Y'all see it across there. Those are shouts out, y'all. Those are who we follow, those who we shout out. They shout us out. Yeah. They shout us out. We shout them out. Y'all know how it goes. It's called support. We support one another. But listen, real quick, for you, for me, and for us, because this is the People's Podcast, right? Go ahead and hit that share button. Go ahead and hit that share button one time. Yes, indeed. I'm just taking a moment to share here. I have an amazing wine that I'm going to introduce you guys to tonight. It's along the same line we were last week, the Sunshine Blitz. It's going to be a sweet, great wine. I'll give you all the total name here in just a moment. Let me get this sharing done, and then we can go ahead on and get into this. Yes, indeed. How was you guys' day today? Of course, you all know my Wednesdays. That's my meditation time, preparing for you guys. So certainly have something on the table for you. We'd have a great conversation. Isn't that something? Yes, indeed. So we can have an amazing grown folk conversation on the People's Podcast. Listen, if you're in the room, raise your hand. Let us know. Let us recognize you. If you got your face in the place. And it's all good. Let me put this up there. ATL in the house. The Queen is in the house. I see you, Queen Octavia. Yes, indeed. We're going to make it do what it do, baby. Yeah, again, tonight's topic is going to be, again, what's on your mind? Can someone put that out there for us, please? What's on your mind? Okay. I see you guys are coming in. You had an amazing day today. Priestess. Okay. Priestess says she had an amazing day. That's a good thing. It's always good to hear that, right? I tell you what, one thing is for certain and two things is for sure. This weather is doing its own thing, y'all. Put on the timeline wherever you're hailing from. Let us know what your weather is. I know we're in South Kakalaki. It's about 50 some degrees. And the wind is doing its own thing. Do you hear me? Boy, that wind is doing its own thing. Yes, it's doing its own thing. Isn't that something? Yes, indeed. We got to get at a drum roll, though. Yes, doing its own thing. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, I see your tea in the house. Hey, Turlin. How you doing tonight? Ice cold in Metro Atlanta? I hear you. Turlin says ice cold. I hear you. Octavian ATL also said it's blistering chilly. Okay, let's see what's going on. Listen, what y'all think about the topic tonight? Tonight's topic is what's on your mind. It's so much in the theater of thought in a conversation that we can just about pick anything and talk about it. And it'd be okay if we're a little bit all over the room tonight, all over the timeline tonight. We can get that conversation on real strong. Yes, indeed. It is just so much happening. Um, we got brothers going against brothers, sisters against sisters, politicians against politicians. I mean, it's just doing its own thing. Okay, you let under the weather, Queen. Okay, listen, we sending healing energy right now to touch you, help speed that process up. It's one of the things that we do as a family here. Come on here, we send each other energy, energy, energy. Yeah, energy, energy. Yes. Once again, you're in Wind Down Wednesday Therapy with a Sip, grown folk conversation. And you're hanging out with your host with the most, the one, the apostle, the prophet, the cosmic commander. Listen, on the People's Podcast. That's right, this is FUBU, for us, by us. Hey, D in the house. Where you at, D? I can't see you. If you're in the house, shout out. All right. Look, let's go ahead on and get this wine poured up and let's go ahead on and get into this conversation because I know, listen, it's holiday season time and people really don't want to sit still. They got so much to do. And let's have some fun. Okay, let me. All right, it's called Sunshine Blitz and it's a sweet strawberry. It's a grape wine, actually. And it's got a little thump to it. There it is. Can you see that? There we go. It's got a little thump to it. Okay. All right. We're going to go ahead and pour this up and we're going to get into this conversation. Conversation. Pour up this bale. There it is. That's all they give us when we go to the restaurant. Well, maybe a little bit more. Let me see. There we go. This all they hit us with. Y'all know when we go to the restaurant. Y'all know what time it is. They hit us with that little bale and then charge us $14.99. For $14.99. Yes, indeed. When you can go get you a whole bottle. For sure. Listen, so I guess I'll start the toast off tonight, if that's all right with you guys. I'll start the toast off tonight, right? With my world famous toast. Let's see. Yes. I can already tell we finna have a fun tonight. Have a ball. We got tea in the house. All right, y'all. Oh, there he is. 217, baby. That's one for kind of two, baby. That's Springfield, Illinois, baby. Illinois in the house. That's them boys. that make that noise from Illinois. All right, all right. Here we go. Toast to you guys. May you all live forever, and shall I never die. Salute. Mm, off the chain. Off the chain. It is off the chain. I see you, KD Raw, in the house. All right, so what y'all want to talk about tonight? One of the things that caught my ear gates was 50 Cent. What y'all feel about that? How y'all feel about that? 50 Cent. If we all on the same page, put 50 Cent on the timeline. Oh, my. Go ahead and put it on the time. 50 Cent. Put a 50 out there. But that caught my ear gates. It's a number of things that caught my ear gates, but it caught my ear gates because, I mean, it's farther for us because they have it out in the theater, right? So it's farther for us to converse about, right? Yeah, he put a documentary out concerning Diddy, and people are doing podcasts on it. They're having fun with it. You know what I mean? And it's like, to me, and this is just me, and I want you all to chime in. But to me, it's like 50 Cent. There's an old saying: never kick a dog when it's down. How many of you have ever heard that old expression? And also, it's another one that's never kick a good man when he's down. Sometimes when people are going through things, it isn't the time to jump on the bandwagon and try to further to destroy them, right? Okay, let's put this up. Queen Octavia. Queen Octavia says, I don't understand his reasoning behind the documentary. It proved the same thing as in the cases of Bill Cosby and R. Kelly, that they were freaks. But that's not what they seem to be charged with. I agree with that. What do you guys think about that? And Queen Octavia, she watched the documentary, so she can assess it and determine from her perception of things, right? 2171 said he watched it as well. What was your take on that, Juan? Would you like to come up? You want to come on with me? If you would like to, I'll bring you on. But let us know, what was your take on that as well? What type of point was he trying to prove, which is what Queen Octavia is saying as well by doing that. It's like everyone tends to try to pile on. Man, when you get wounded, if you ever get wounded, man, they're gonna pile on. So uh, you might as well look, you might as well get ready because they're gonna pile on. And the crazy part about it, here's the thing. What we found out is that, of course, I'm a counselor, but what we found out is that most people will do some really dangerous things. Yeah, yeah, he is. No doubt, no doubt, Carolyn. That's true. But people will use what we refer to as false memories. And if you don't know what that is, you can look it up. False memories. False memory is when you take someone else's situation and you apply it to something that may have similarly happened in your life. And you make choices and decisions based off of that, which has no validity and no real reality. We call that what? Pharmaceutical delusional denial. Okay. So, what do you do with that? Right? Okay. Carolyn says, pile on like flies and maggots. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Now, here's what I want to say. When it comes to Diddy, right? Here's what I want to say. And I'm very careful with how, when people are going through, how I address the situation, right? Because it's important to note that, like the song says, believe only half of what you see and none of what you hear. How many of you all remember? You remember that song? That was Temptations, right? If I'm recalling correctly, I think it was the Temptations. But what the Temptations were saying? What? Believe only half of what you see and none of what you what hear. The whole thing to me is that if you weren't there, you have to caution how you judge and address things, in my opinion. Okay? Now let's see what Queen Octavia says. Just wanted to spotlight the nastiness, and further diminish him or them. Do I like Diddy or do I support his lifestyle? Absolutely not. But I didn't hear of any charges of abuse or owing debts. And I agree. I even during the trial, even during the trial, they didn't convict him of the charges that they brought up on him. Right? Isn't that something? Just reiterates that no matter how big you get, you still a N word. You can't do what they do and get away with it. I agree. But just take a minute and think about it. Let me ask you all a question. For over 500 years, who's been in authority? Right? Our European counterparts have been in authority. Is that correct? So for at least 500 years, some would say four, and then 200 and some in slavery, because all of us did not come over here on a boat. Some of us were already here. That's another story. But when you think about it, you got to look at it in totality to catch what is really, really going on with what is happening to us, right? What is really happening to us and with us? And just real quick, I want to say that it's all about programming. We, we've been so programmed that we cannot make the right choice, right? To make the right choice. There is a choice that is awaiting us for our own deliverance. And I'm not talking about liberation. I'm not talking about liberation. I'm talking about freedom. We already been liberated. We need to be free. Okay, here's what Juan says. I also watched the documentary on Diddy, produced by the establishment. They focused more on the crimes he committed. 50 Cent went more into the underlying story about the death of Biggie, Tupac, and everyone who was close to him, who also met an untimely demise or death with him involved. Okay. So, and with that in tow, let me ask you something, Juan. Why do you believe, if that's true, allegedly he did these things? How was he able to get away with them? This is one of my biggest questions. How was he able to get away with it? Right? Okay. Uh, Queen Octavia says, made me look at 50 like, why are you doing this? And who are you doing this for? Yeah, yeah. I thought it was kind of weird, right? Again, let me go back to when I was talking about the 500 years, right, of who's been in authority, because this is important to mention. Okay. I again, we learn more by what we see than what we hear. So if you've had someone that has been leading you for at least 500 years or less, don't you think at some point you would start to mimic them? Just asking for a friend, do you think that at some point you would start to mimic them? Right? Oh, okay. So he did it to white women. So if he did, I mean, he did it to black women. So if he did it to white women, they would have hung him. Okay. Okay. Now it's so much to unpack in all of that because it's crazy, right? And okay, but why would you mimic those gross behaviors? Because in some cases they were forced options, and in other cases it was just programming. You were programmed to follow along, even if you didn't choose to. So over a period of time, you kind of adopt that kind of behavior, which is what we're seeing now when you see those of us like this right here acting like our counterparts. Why? Because they've been what? Programmed. I mean, it's no secret. We know that to be a fact that they've been what? Programmed. And it's hard to undo that programming because why? The dominant society appears to have everything. The dominant society appears to do everything the right way. Everything benefits them. So, as a result of that, what do people have a tendency to do? To believe that that's the right way to do things, although it's the wrong way, right? Even though you know it's wrong because you've seen it for so long, you'll do it, right? Okay. The master teacher says the programming was written in our DNA. It was learned behavior and it became a way of life. Okay. Great answer. Are we in here? It's Wind Down Wednesday, baby. Therapy with a sip, grown folk conversation. Go ahead. Give yourselves a hand. One more time for those there in the back. All right. Let's toast it up. It's Wind Down Wednesday, baby. Salute. Salute. If you're sipping tonight, let me know what you're sipping on. If you're drinking water, tea, coffee, wine, sip, whatever, let me know what you're sipping on. But we had a great conversation tonight. That's what was in my. Oh, there he is, you all. None other than the man himself, you all. T Swin, Men Can Always Be Wrong podcast, right? For those of you that don't know, he has an excellent readout. Here it is right here. I always keep it at my fingertips. Love is for suckers. And I'm pretty sure it's going to put this information on the timeline for you. but love is for suckers. Shout out to him and his cohort, Jay Bean, and also to CTR Network Media. Congratulations to Dr. Tina. She put out a couple of books. Hey, T, she done put her album out, huh? All right. We hear you, Dr. Tina. Go ahead on, girl. Also, shout out to our girl, J Love, over there turning the moment into a movement. Shout out to Crystal, that they'll get that situation straightened out with her. Krista Clark, a sister that's wrongfully incarcerated in Michigan. So shout out to her. All right, all right. Shout out to Black Moses Freedom Festival, Queen Basu, Black Sis Nefertim. And shout out to you all for being faithful. Those of you that are on the timeline, shout out to you. Y'all know what? Y'all know this is the People's Podcast, baby. This is FUBU, for us, by us. All right. Yes, indeed. Let's go ahead on and dive on into it. Okay. I see you. Ginger tea had some earlier with honey and cayenne pepper. Yes, indeed. That's the way to go right there. Yes, indeed. But yeah, when you think about it, and we talked about Diddy some time back. One of the things that happened with Diddy was Diddy started to make boss moves. Now, this is where I was getting to the point of only being liberated and not being free. See, if Diddy was free, he wouldn't be locked up right now. And let me share with you why, in my opinion. Diddy started making boss moves. One move he made was to create a black think tank for politics. We all know that's a no-no. Latrell, greetings. Thank you for stopping in. We all know that's a no-no, right? Then, gratitude. Then we know he did what? He sued the liquor company, Ciroc, for his drink, right? He did that. But what most people don't know about the contract that he had with them, it has a clause in it. And that clause stipulate that you cannot have any immorality, right? And if you do, then what they can do is void that contract. All right, yeah, that's what I see you, Modelo, baby, Modelo. So they'll void the contract, right? And there's a number of other things, but with that, putting himself out there like that, now he becomes a target, right? Now they can kill two birds with one stone because what they can do now, create public opinion. All they got to do is get somebody to put it out there. And he shot himself in the foot when he did what he did with Cassie in that hotel hallway. And I have to tell you, I've been around for a long time and I've seen all kinds of things happen. That didn't seem out of the ordinary for neither one of them. And I'm not condoning anything, definitely not abuse. But it didn't seem out of the ordinary for neither one of them. Just let me kick this up. It appeared that this was something that they were used to doing and being involved in. We just happened to see it. The cameras caught it. Because if the cameras didn't catch it, guess what? We wouldn't know about it, right? And if we didn't know about it, chances are it was going to do what? Continue on. But you have to understand something. See, with that being caught on camera, now Cassie can no longer participate in that kind of behavior. Now she has to switch up. And that's what she did. She switched up. Eventually, she switched up. But everybody that was around them know what type of behavior both of them exhibited. We just caught it. Yes, yes, Taylor. We just caught it on camera, right? They didn't know they had that on camera. And here's what I tell people all of the time. I tell people all of the time that you have a choice. You have a choice. However, I do know that there are times that there are what? Forced options, right? Where you're in a situation where you're forced to participate or forced to do something because there's no other outage. There's no other way out, right? I tell you, says like her mother says, keep your nose clean. And here's what I always say, and that's a good point, Queen Octavia. But here's what I always say to people. You know what I always say? He or she be without sin, cast the first stone. If you ain't never did nothing in your life that was well, then you is an exception to the rule. So, which is why you should govern how. There she is, J Love, y'all, turning the moment into a movement. We just shouted out Crystal Clark. Uh, and shout out to you too, J Love. J Love just been nominated, been nominated for an award. Put that on the timeline so we can shout that out, J Love. Turning a moment into a movement, y'all in the house. Listen, it's what? Wind Down Wednesday, baby. Therapy with a sip, grown folk conversation, right? It's the People's Podcast. It's the People's Podcast. And it's the holiday seasons. Listen, if you're drinking, drink responsibly. Okay? Yes, indeed. Can you put out there the award that you nominated for, please, for us? So we can put that up there. All right. But yeah, what say you all about that situation? Um, they had so much information, you all, about Cassie and Diddy and how she talked about this and talked about that and how she enjoyed those freak offs and different types of things like that. My question is, how can you convict someone for something that someone loved doing? I think Queen Octavia said it the best right there. You can't have it both ways, right? You can't have it both ways. Okay, let's talk about it. We still got a little time left here before we have to get up out of here. My point exactly. How can a willing participant become a victim when you are complicit in something? You know you're complicit. See, this is why snitches get stitches because they were complicit. Let me, no, but seriously, the reason why snitches get stitches is because they were complicit. You in here, we in here together, and we doing this here, and then you go tell it. But you was doing it too. But then, but then you go and tell it. Oh, wait a minute. Fools, snitches get stitches because they were complicit. Listen, the misconception and the misnomer is that you're only giving them stitches because they snitched. Nope. A real snitch is one that is complicit and participated in the act and then go and tell it. Oh, y'all hear me? Thank you, J Love, for that. Okay. Just so y'all know, Queen Carolyn, she's a school teacher as well, master teacher, school teacher. Look, she says not only do they get stitches, she said they end up in ditches, according to the middle school students. Oh, it's Wind Down Wednesday, baby. Therapy with a sip. It's grown folk conversation up in here. Listen, here's the People's Podcast, right? This is a place where you come so that you can be heard. Your thoughts and your opinions, they really matter and they really count. And we're here to have an amazing, amazing time, right? Yes, yes. But yeah, I thought it was real petty, in my opinion, what 50 Cent did. I just thought that it was really petty. And there are those that are championing him for what it is that he did. And hey, if that's where you at, that's how you feel. I mean, then that's where you at, and that's how you feel. But have you ever done anything that you don't want anybody to know about? And I'm quite sure there are some skeletons in the closet, right? So y'all remember that song, "Living in a Glass House"? Don't do what? Don't throw no what? Don't throw no stone. And then them William brothers had a song, "Sweep Around Your Own Front Door" before you try to sweep around mine. Why am I saying this? I'm not saying that someone shouldn't be held accountable for their behavior. That isn't what I'm saying. But however, what I am saying is be careful how you condemn someone. I didn't say judge. Judgment is okay. To judge is okay. When people say, "Oh, you can't judge, you shouldn't judge," yes, you should, because judgment only simply means to make a good choice and decision based upon what's being presented to you, whether it is good or not so good. So you make the choice to either do it or you don't. But condemnation is different. Condemnation is when you assassinate someone's character, when you try to deliberately sabotage by what? By words and by actions, by deeds, to injure someone, whether it be mentally, spiritually, or physically, to condemn them. And this is very important. Okay? Let's see what T says. It's all it's all part of a narrative to make the black man look like the most evil man on earth. Here we go. Yes, sir. But we don't drop bombs on innocent countries, force people to change beliefs and languages, control governments, educations, or put hazardous chemicals in food and medicine. Yes, indeed. We don't see, we're not targeting what we need to be targeting, T Swin, and that's an excellent point. That's an excellent point. We do not target what we should be targeting, but we're targeting each other. And see, Diddy is low hanging fruit. You know, once you've been injured by the media, excuse me, once the media get hold to your information, man, and start digging in and then assassinate you in the media, you become low hanging fruit. So it's easy for 50 Cent to do what he did to Diddy. See, I'm not down with that. I'm not down with you gonna kick somebody when they down, man. I'm not down with you, player. They ain't player like. Give me your player card. Nah, nah, give me that player card, man. You know what I'm saying? That's petty. That's called being petty. Queen Octavia says, I will state again, this has this has not been the case for Playboy. How many freak offs has that place seen? Yeah, Hugh Hefner. Yeah, doing it all the time. They were doing it back in the day. Yes, indeed. Teacher Willie Pierce says, the master teacher says, Stevie Wonder, skeletons, baby. Skeletons in your closet, itching to to coke outside, missing with your conscience in a way your face can't hide. 50 Cent, you are not innocent. No, indeed. I don't even know why you would jump out there like that, man. That's crazy. But anyway, I think more black men should speak up and speak out about the great things that's happening in our community. Yes, we can do this work together because we have some great men in our communities. Absolutely. Absolutely. But you see, just like T. Swin was saying, you see what they focused on. They focus on the negativity. And then you see two black men, right, at each other. And see, and then that goes right back to slavery. I know we beat a dead horse and we got black burnout. But when you look at that, that takes you right back to slavery because remember the that law of 17 something, I can't but it was called meritorious manumission, where one slave was freed once a year, I believe it was. If they did a good deed, for example, saved their master's life or snitched on those that were planning to run away, they could be set free, right? Or if they did some good deeds. So, but it was only one. So now you getting this same kind of behavior right now with those rappers. You see people, they're in competition, right? Because only one can be chosen, only the one. So what do you have to do? You have to what? Eliminate the competition by any means what necessary. If I have to snitch on you, I'll snitch on you, right? Yes, yes, they had Mandingo warriors in the works. Yes, indeed. Yes. All right, who's up for the toast? Let's do a toast here. Y'all ready? We're waiting for the toast and wind down Wednesday. Therapy with a sip grown folk conversation. The People's Podcast. For you, for me, and for us. Meritorious, meritorious manumission. If the master teacher's in the house, I'll get him to put it on the timeline for you. Meritorious manumission. Okay, here you go, Jay. Okay, Jay says, because we have an obsessive relationship with fame and celebrities, we will overlook and make excuses for predatory behavior. Diddy got away with so much because of a fame and those willing to do anything for it. Meanwhile, 50 Cent is no better. Both actions come from a place of jealousy and greed. I agree. Oh, good word. Good word. Thank you for that, J Love. That was amazing. Yes. He said he's driving, but I'll make sure that you get that, Carolyn. I just I can't put my fingers on it right now, but I'll make sure you get it. It is called meritorious manumission. Yeah, and it actually happened. Yes, and it's still on the books somewhere. Okay, who did anybody put the toast out there yet? Yeah, yeah. Taylor, he's gonna put it on there when he get an opportunity to. Okay, there it is. T. Swin. Yes, sir. Here's to us. May our joy be shared, our burdens made lighter, and our spirits lifted by one another to unity, to love, and to the strength we build together. Cheers to community and cheers to us. Salute, salute, salute. Uh oh. T, you made me do it. You made me finish that on off, T. I got to pull up another bell. Got to pull up another bell. Uh oh. All right, y'all. Where we at? Let's see if we're on the other side of this. Yeah, we're on the other side of this, you all. I only try to keep you about 60 minutes to have a little grown folk conversation. Hmm. Okay. Let's see what Jay says. Okay. Jay Love says, Diddy's victims knowingly signed bad contracts because he sold them a promise of fame. Can we name one of his artists that are still doing well today? There were times when Mary J. Blige was broke. Yeah, I agree. And like I always say, Jay, like I always say, also y'all, she's also known as the Love Gangster, J Love. But as I always say, you have a choice, right? You always have a choice, again, except for like I mentioned about forced options. You always have a choice. You can either choose to enter behind door number one when you already know what's behind door number one. If you know that, hey, behind door number one are broken promises for some type of contract for music, and most know that, already know that, chances are you're being sold a dream that isn't going to come true, right? Most know that. So chances are you're just selling your soul or you're giving up free energy. Behind door number two with Diddy, they also knew that they were freak offs. They knew that it was a party. It was going to be a freak party. We finna, man, we get some freaking going on. You dig? And if you ain't down with that, don't go up in there, right? So what do you do with that? It's on y'all tonight. What do you do with that? Thank you, JP. JP says that if we've come to that space and place and time where being a content creator, I do need your support. I need your financial help. So the information is there before you, and I'll put it on the ticker there just in a moment. donate. We just simply ask, yes. T. Swin says, also, many of our people learn from being taken advantage of when the person with the knowledge knew the right thing to do. So much pain could have been avoided. Right. Yeah. I'm gonna let that sit there just for a second, T, because yeah, yeah. Isn't that something? Your donations are welcome, large, small, or in between. It doesn't matter. Gratitude, gratitude. But I read that again. Also, so many of our people learn from being taken advantage of when the person with the knowledge knew the right thing to do. And that is so absolutely correct, T. That there are people that has knowledge and they know the right thing to do, but do they do it? Do they really package it in a way that it's convincing enough to someone to get them to see that hey, there may not be a choice you want to make, right? Because it's going to cost you something. And I think that we've stopped having those levels of conversation that are so powerful that it could stop a person in their tracks and they will really listen to you, right? Isn't that something? That was what we used to do. We knew that, hey, but our parents, you remember, if you go back in the day, some of us are old enough and then some of us may not be. But our parents wouldn't let us play with certain person's children. They wouldn't even let us play with them. They said, hey, we don't do that, right? We don't do that. Okay. All right, T. I'll let you know, Carolyn. Okay. Gratitude, Queen. Listen, get you some rest and continue success in your healing. Ciao for now. All right. So yeah, isn't that something? Give me just a second here. Seeing donation. Thank you, Queen Octavia, for your donation. Thank you, JP, Prince of Peace, for your donation. Thank you all that'll be donating once you catch this podcast, the People's Podcast. Yes, indeed. All right, fam. We at the top of the hour, so we're gonna wrap it up. Any more comments? Let y'all go ahead on and get those comments in, and while you're getting your comments in, listen. Shout out to the sponsors for tonight: the Prince of Peace, Queen Octavia, the Master Teacher, T. Swin, Men Can Always Be Wrong podcast. Also, Dorothy Wilson, and also the Priestess from out of Atlanta, Lavelle. Listen, shout out to you. Thank you all for all of the support for Wind Down Wednesday. And those of you that view us later, thank you. Gratitude for the support. Thank you for sharing. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you all for liking and subscribing and following the pages. It is a beautiful thing, family. Um, that is really happening for us. I mean, it's a beautiful thing that's going down for us. Do you hear me? We was at, check this out, y'all. We were at only 100 and some followers, right? We did one wind down Wednesday and end up with 400 and some followers. Wow. And one of our short vids, family, this is how powerful we are. We're making inroads. This is how powerful this is. That on one of our videos, T. Swin and I, we have over 1,000 views. Over 1,000 views. And on one of them, we have like about 19,000 views. We are making it do what it do. Do you hear me? So listen, don't think that we're just in here just making noise, but listen, I'm shouting you all out because you all are making all of this possible. It's because of you all. Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude to all of you all on the timeline, those of you that are going to be viewing later, those of you that have liked and subscribed, those of you that have liked and followed. Gratitude, 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 gratitude. All right, with that in tow, let's get our last comments in. And if you haven't yet donated, please do so. Gratitude, gratitude. All right. Let's get back to our comments. Okay, Queen Octavia says, I hope that this helps open the eyes of those following pipe dreams. Yeah, you would hope so. Yes, indeed. You would definitely hope so. So everybody good? Everybody. Listen, it's the holiday seasons. Let us be responsible in all of our acts and behavior. If we're going to drink, let us do it responsibly. Those of you that are going to be token and enjoying that herbal, listen, do it responsibly. Okay? Everything that we do, let us do it responsibly to preserve life and ourselves, okay? And others. Prince of Peace says, this is such a pivotal conversation. We certainly should know what not to do with our brothers and sisters. But what we should spend our time doing is uplifting and fostering for love, healing, and authenticity. Good word. That is a good word to go out on, the Prince of Peace. Listen, again, if you haven't had an opportunity to do it, please pick it up. Love is for Suckers by none other than T. Swin. It is an amazing read. He put the information out there for you guys, so pick it up. Also, let's shout out none other than Dr. Clea, Creating the Amazing You. It's her journal book that's out. She's out at the ATL as well, and you all can find her out online. All right? So we support them. T. Swin, Dr. Clea. And shout out. There he is. Look. All right. Peace, 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 God. Yes, indeed. Great to see you. All right. Please vote for family. Appreciate you all. Good night. Also, you all click on the link that um, Jaleel put in there and vote. Okay. Please vote for family. Okay. All right. All right, fam. Listen, y'all know what? I reached that space, place, and time where I must say, hold what you got, muse over it, cogitate upon it, ponder on it, meditate upon it, but by all means, do what? Govern yourselves accordingly. One love, eternal light, peace, power, prosperity. In the words of the Prince of Peace, excellent health. Shalom Aleichem, Mishpachah, meaning peace be unto you, family.